viewers, a world-class city in a third world civic mess. This is the reality of Millennium City, Gurugram. Suesha, over the course of the last 3 days, accounted for what the residents really feel. Residents, some of them who've paid tens of crore rupees to get into their little luxury, condos, buildings, condominiums, all of that. But the minute you step out you literally step out and visualize and see a city that is sinking in its own shit. Why is it, viewers, that a city that has a civic infrastructure expenditure of over 500 crores still looks like this with one downpour? Who is accountable for this city? Who is accountable for the citizens of Gurugram? The fact is, it's fragmented where jurisdiction and overlapping of authorities is concerned. While the command chain is really very clear, it comes in directly where the Chief Minister of Haryana is concerned, but the tyranny of distance, a line that we use very, very commonly for certain cities and towns that are away from Delhi when it comes down to governance, I would reckon Gurugram faces exactly that, away from Chandigarh, the seat of power, despite the Chief Minister of Haryana holding the portfolio of planning and urban development where towns and estate is concerned. Despite all of that, it has an expenditure of over 500 crores when it comes down to sanitation, garbage, maintenance, all of that literally going down the drain. And one would be happy if it went down the drain because the drains in Gurugram are completely clogged, something which the residents of Gurugram know very well. Again, my colleague Suesha and I over the next half hour will connect to you. So join us. We're going to put out the QR code right there. Join us on the special broadcast. If you're in Gurugram, you're angry, you want to be heard, we are sending you this QR code that you see on your television screen. Let's try and fix accountability for the urban mess you find yourself in, where you're paying your dues, where you're paying your taxes, yet you cannot get out of those little luxury cocoons or your house where Gurgaon is concerned. One of the main reasons, viewers, we gave you the chain of command where accountability is concerned, but it's also fragmented because it's not just like the BMC in Bombay that is responsible, or the MCD that is responsible where Delhi is concerned. Sadly, Gurgaon has many civic agencies and there is abject overlapping of accountability, and that's what leads to nobody taking accountability. There is no responsibility that is fixed. If there is the Municipal Corporation of Gurgaon, there is also the Gurgaon Metropolitan Development Authority. There is also the Haryana Urban Development Authority. There is also the Haryana Shahri Vikas Pradhikaran. You have multiple agencies. One would think that Gurgaon would be looking like a model city, the Millennium City it was envisioned to be. But none of these agencies really take any responsibility, or are they held accountable? Add to it the RWAs, many of them dumping kuda, garbage right outside their condos. I want to cut across to some of the prominent citizens of Gurgaon, and once again, we're giving you that QR code. Continue to join us. If you're angry, you just want your voice heard, and we understand. Ultimately, it's you out there. And some of you, I know, have taken hours to commute a stretch of just a few kilometers as early as last night. Ravinder Singh, author, joining me, and Suesha, Adwaita Kala, author, columnist, Major General Yashpal Singh Moore, CEO, Save the Himalayas. He was also with Suesha, who filed that ground report. Chandni Alawar Dabas, my colleague, business head, original special projects, India Today. Suesha, come in anytime that you want to with questions. Once again, that QR code, people joining us from Gurgaon. If you want to change, or you just want to vent, just join us. And Suesha, come in anytime you want to ask a question to our panelists, but I would like to begin with Chandni because she works all the way in Noida where our head office is, and it's not easy, Chandni, for you to make this commute, especially on the day it rains.
Not easy is an understatement, Preeti. It is a nightmarish situation if an orange alert is sounded, or if you know that there is going to be rainfall one day. So number one, this whole myth of NCR is completely eroded for me. It's out of the roof. And just to clear Gurgaon, I live on the golf course road, to clear Gurgaon,
that's
to
quite
get
posh,
into Delhi.
Chandni, that's I would reckon that's the poshest strip where Gurgaon is concerned, even if I'm allowed to use a word like posh.
Well, we are the lucky few who are living on Golf Course Road, a couple of buildings from the, I would now say, notorious Camellias, where, the prices are cited to be 100 crore. But my God, it's been horrible. It's horrible. Every monsoon is getting worse, Preeti. I'm joking about certain things, but I cannot tell you what a nightmare it is to commute. And we've seen, of course, the visuals, from anywhere from Gurgaon to out of Gurgaon.
Anywhere from Gurgaon to out of Gurgaon, it is a nightmare. Well, I know it firsthand because I've known Chandani take hours to do this one way from Gurgaon to Noida, and that is on a good day. If it rains, well, it's a completely different story. I'm going to come down to it, Chandni, because there is a fair amount of anger. Who's responsible? Because the likes of you, there's so much money that some of you have actually paid to get into these beautiful little condos, these flats you speak of, over 100 crores, but you walk into your own shit practically. Ravinder Singh, you've been very vocal. You've been a resident of Gurgaon for many, many years. You've been very, very vocal. Once again, a lot of people joining us. And I think it's something which is very emotive, where your own city is concerned. And people across Gurgaon are joining in, be a part of this campaign, make a difference, or just went, whatever, floats your boat, literally, where Gurgaon is concerned. Ravinder, go ahead. And then Suesha, come and take some questions.
I'm done ranting every year. I think the entire focus where I want to focus on is pinning down accountability. We cannot have four different organizations responsible to one thing because all it leads to is passing the buck. ये मैंने नहीं किया, ये उनकी जिम्मेदारी है, ये उन्होंने नहीं किया, ये मेरी जिम्मेदारी है. I think we need to have one body, pin the accountability, and it should all be left with the CM of this particular state who holds this portfolio of urban planning. We cannot have a smart city without good drainage. I mean, I grew up reading in social studies about Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, and we talked about the drainage system of back then. With so much of progress, we are catering to the US and Europe. We are the IT hub. We can't cater to our own city at this point in time. Urban planning is a big mess. We need to hold accountability, one organization which caters this. And I think all of this is very much doable. It all boils down to drainage system. We need enhanced drainage system. Whatever drains are left, we need to declutter them. Whatever drains we bring, we need to clean them, maintain them. We also need to focus on anti-dumping. These are not rocket science tasks. How can we talk about 100 smart cities when we are this dumb to not have a drainage system and we are next door to the capital of this country? What are we doing with all the taxes that we pay? The last time that conference wherein I heard Suhail talk about and Amitabh Khan said, this is one city which brings the maximum amount of taxes, the corporate. And we cannot have this fear, this chalta hai attitude needs to go away. We need to pin down the problem and name and shame those who are actually responsible and not doing the job.
Suesha, you want to ask a question? Go ahead.
Right. Yes. Preeti, I also want to make a very important point and let all our viewers know who are watching right now that India Today had reached out to GDMA and GMC and they were taking our calls at first. In fact, the GMC had also said that we will get an interview with them. They will get their fair chance to be able to explain why this is. And then when they realized that we are going and filing a full-fledged report, there was no response a day after. So they refused to talk to us and they just stopped taking our calls. Why I'm saying this is because in my interaction with most of the residents that I had while filing this report, they said that some of these bodies that have been unresponsive, that have not been responsive, the other problem that even if they come, that the problem still stays. They come with makeshift solutions, but that really does not solve the problem. Thirdly, the residents themselves have been very proactive. They have been giving suggestions, but the civic bodies that have not been taking it. If I could just take this quickly to Major General Moore, as I had a detailed conversation with him on this, and Major General Moore, some also say that there is widespread corruption within these bodies. That is also one of the reasons that we don't see strong accountability.
Yeah, Suesha, I remember early morning cycling with you and showing you a few of the spots in South City too, basically around Sector 50 and 49. See, corruption is very much part of everything which our civic bodies or government does, especially as far as infrastructure is concerned. Otherwise, why would you have a city without footpaths? Why would you have a city without drainage system? Why would you have a city with a broken sewer system? Why would you have a city where every 500 meters or kilometer you have a red light and you keep waiting there for hours and commuting within the city 3-4 kilometers, which should be just 5-10 minutes of work takes more than half an hour or 1 hour. So entire system, I think, where whether it's a government agency is involved or it is other agencies involved, there's no doubt absolutely that a poor quality construction and general apathy is because of corruption in all these institutions.
Well, I'm going to bring in Adwaita, but I just want to once again, I just want to put it out there. The expenditure where Gurgaon alone is concerned, that is allocated, is over 500 crores a year. It's quite a bit. And that is just only for three things, which is garbage, which is sewage, and which is maintenance. Roads, everything is different. Yet, it's a city that fails its citizens on a daily level, where urban planning, town planning comes under no one else but directly where the chief minister is concerned. So the buck literally does stop there. One of the main issues that continues to be where Gurgaon is concerned is the multiple agencies that govern its civic mess. There's no other way to say it, because it's not just one. It's the MCG, it's the GMDA, it's Huda, it's HSVP, and then throw in an RWA into it. It's a full mix of that. I know Chandni wants to come in, but Adwaita, before I, let you air your Gurgaon or Gurugram grouse, I just want to, there are few things that actually get phone lines ringing, and that is just when you talk about people's city, which are failing them on a daily level. So, people joining us, we're going to cut across to them, hear them out as well. But Adwaita, over to you.
Preeti, are you sure you said Gurgaon and not Venice? Because, I'm confused right now, and I'm trying to be very optimistic about this situation here, because it's just disgusting. This happens every year. There is garbage that is floating around us. We're getting ready for an epidemic, at least, if not a pandemic, because this is the kind of situation that we're in right now. It doesn't matter what we say, how long we say it for. They're just not concerned. And yes, we have to ask questions. Where is the money going? And to whom is the money going? And do we need the government even involved in this? Because they've failed so miserably. Maybe this needs to be privatized. Maybe a private company will be far more committed to keeping us clean, healthy, our roads working, and all of the other things that we deserve as taxpayers, that we deserve as voters. And now it's reached a point where people are just disgusted by this. And they're tired of being silent. And you know what's going on here? You said those multiple agencies. All they do is pass the buck. That's why there are so many of them. Because if you approach one, they'll pass the buck on to the next. You approach the next, they'll pass it on to the third. So the only reason for their existence is to escape accountability. It isn't actually to get anything done. So this is the point we're at. This is rightly pointed out, is a corporate city. Lots of taxpayers here, lots of the economy is booming. The land prices are booming. I mean, we have some of the most expensive residences in the world, not only in the country. And this is the kind of lifestyle. And when you go into some of the colonies and some of the enclaves, so to speak, it looks like you're entering a Western city. So it's not like it's not possible. It can happen. But just when you step out of those gates, it's hell.
Okay. I want to take a few citizens from Gurgaon who are calling. Suesha, we have Abhishek Asthana. You want to speak with him? Go ahead, Suesha.
Hello.
Abhishek, very good afternoon. You watched our report. All right. Preeti, I don't know how audible I am, but
we can
Abhishek,
hear you. Go ahead,
what's
Suesha.
your point of view? In case you want to share. Abhishek, what do you want to say as a resident of Gurgaon?
So I stay at the Golf Course Extension Road. It is the extension of the famed Golf Course Road. And the residences here have also skyrocketed in prices. I bought this place in 2023, and in the last 2 years, this place has doubled in terms of the price. But the kind of stuff that I see outside my condo is pretty, if you walk around, it feels like you're roaming in England. The moment you walk out, it feels like some tier 3 village that you're going out. I mean, it's sewage water outside. I mean, I have no clue what kind of development goes on. I have no idea, no information as to what development is going on. And see, in terms of information, I have no clue. Plus, when something goes bad, I have no idea when it will get corrected. And I simply, I mean, fear going out, basically taking my car out to different places in Gurgaon. For me, my car stays in the garage for the 2 months of monsoons. So
Well,
that is the kind of life
I
we are
wouldn't
living.
blame you, but if I were you, I would think you're saying in 1 year it's doubled. I would reckon bail, because tier 3 villages seemingly are way better than what Gurgaon is in terms of civic planning. Chandni, you wanted to make a point, and there is, because you were talking of, living in one of what is considered the best parts of Gurgaon, which has a very high residential value in terms of investment. But yet, the minute you step out of your condominium compound, it's terrible.
Preeti, actually, we've all seen how terrible it is. The visuals are speaking for themselves. But what I wanted to do was bolster your point about the budgets and who's taking care of what. Because I think at the heart of everything is follow the money, right? So we are saying the Municipal Corporation of Gurgaon, which is actually supposed to be responsible for civic services in Gurgaon, for the year 24-25, they have passed themselves a budget of 1571 crore. The Gurugram Metropolitan Development Authority, which handles the broader urban planning, infrastructure, water, and roads, which is headed by our chief minister, has increased its budget by 3 times. They spent 954.08 crore for development in last year, and this year they have now given themselves a budget of 3,034.82 crore rupees. What I'm saying is, and I'm also bolstering Sir's point here about corruption, someone needs to follow the money. There is enough budget, there's enough money. What is missing is intent in governing a city like Gurgaon, which is, by the way, collected a revenue of 3,875 crores from liquor last year alone. And this is only Gurgaon. Please remember this. So we really need to follow the money.
You're right there, because Ravinder, if there were as many storm drains as there are liquor vents in Gurgaon, it'd be a different story.
It's true. See, the problem, Preeti, is this chalta hai attitude. Now, somebody sitting in power, he thinks or she thinks, or people who are responsible, their attitude is, okay, these 10 different heads are coming on this show. They will talk, rant, and they will vanish. The moment the rain is over, nobody's going to talk about this. The problem here is somebody needs to fix the accountability and put a poster that you guys failed us. That level of campaign is needed on social media, and work has to start immediately after this rain and not wait for the next rain to figure out naliya kahan gayi.
I think we're going to try and do a bit on this one, because Swesha, you want to take another caller, because the apathy is abysmal and there needs to be some accountability. If we are good for anything as a media network, we need to be good at this. Swesha, you want to take another question?
Right. Preeti, I also wanted to ask a lot of these residents joining us, because, the sense I get is that Gurgaon is now crossed its saturation mark. And it is at a very critical juncture. The next 5 years are very crucial, because in the way that the development is happening, it is not able to accommodate the population that it has, the civic amenities that are rather on the downfall. And if the civic authorities don't take control in the years to come, and in these 5 years, then the state of Gurgaon is beyond abysmal, is what is the sense that I get. I would really like a point of view from the residents of Gurgaon.
All right, let's get Anulal, Yoga Smith founder, PTE Limited. Anulal, what's your point? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I've been making viral videos about Gurgaon flooding for many, many years. I think over 10 years. Every year the videos go viral. I upload them on the CM window. They get resolved because the ticket gets closed. It's in the months of monsoon, everybody's very hyper active. Our RWs are very active even throughout the year. But nothing really happens throughout the year. And see, one thing I think we have to understand is that urban elite are nobody's vote bank. We are not a vote bank for anybody, so nobody cares about us.
But it's not just you, Anulal. It's not just the urban elite, because there are hapless people who are caught in this abject civic mess, because there are people who are not just in from the urban, colonies that are considered elite. Advaita, 30 seconds, we need to close the show, man.
You know, there are people, Preeti, who have died in this particular season. We need to talk about them. There are people who have been electrocuted, who've fallen into open manholes, who have lost their lives because of this ineptitude, this alleged corruption, which is highly likely. I mean, I'm mind blown by the kind of budgets they had. You think they didn't have a budget to do anything.
Right.
People have lost their lives for this. What more are we waiting for?
No, fair point. And I would reckon really, and this is a request to all those who live in Gurgaon, because if you're going to crib every day about the civic infrastructure, please start putting where, your money where your mouth is. Start verbalizing it, start campaigns. We're going to do what it takes. My colleague Suesha has been reporting for the last week from Gurgaon. She's going to continue to report. And sadly, viewers, as we are relaying this show to you, we are flooded with calls coming in, no, not from Gurgaon, but Bengaluru. So I would reckon the next chapter of Sync City is going to be Bengaluru after Gurgaon. But we are going to be focused on Gurgaon and try and get answers. Sadly, not from one agency, but four. The MCG, the GMDA, Huda, HSVP, and the Chief Minister, who's in charge of urban planning in town. Suesha, thank you for filing that report. She's been somebody who's been on ground, constantly tracking developments, speaking to the citizens. She's joining us from South City today, and she's going to continue to get you answers on accountability. Thank you for watching.